And good morning. We're working on Proc-macros today. We're going to be reviewing the last Proc macro we were working on, but also looking at the actual version inside of Detolne's crate. I guess his GitHub repo. So we're going to take a look at that. So let's start off by heading in that direction. Oh, what was that one? Oh, yes. Got way too many of these open. Let's close those to the right here. Close multiple tabs to the right. 58, not bad. We're going to look at the repos here. One of them actually starts with an R something. That is the kind of the version we were looking at, or the exercise we were looking at yesterday. Remain. Thank you, Museum. Just click on one. Choose that. I tried to watch you going through the whole thing yesterday. It's tough. Kept having to leave and come back. So I'll probably watch it again today during some meetings. All right. Proc-mac attributes. Okay, so there's sort and there's check. As nothing. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, off the bat, learning something new. What is this nothing? It's in this crate. I see. Okay, first off, I want to take a look at nothing. That sounds so weird. I'm gonna open a new tab for that. Parse. Nothing. So it returns a nothing. Obstruct nothing. And what happens if you give it something? Does this error out because you're not consuming the stream? That is pretty neat. Morning Nightshade, dude. Has anyone been to Engagement, Ohio? I haven't. I have never been to Engagement, Ohio. Just parse for input. Oh, what is this, fork? It's a place between Dayton and Maryland. Marion. Oh, Dayton. Unless you roll back if you had an error. That's pretty neat. Let's see. Head peak. So if there is a match, we'll get the expression out of it. Otherwise, we just bail out saying we're expecting that. Oh, I see. Where is a head used there? Oh, here, a head up peak. Oh, there's so much good stuff in here. Yeah, look at that, the head up call. At least you run down the parsing path. So where's attribute? Okay, sin attribute. Parse outer. I guess why would you do this? It looks like it's just going to fail and return an error. Calls a parse function in that context. Okay. And sin has attribute. So what is this actually doing? We're going to parse outer on that. So if it doesn't match outer, then it's going to bail. So whatever parse outer does. Let's see. He's just using it for peak. It seems like some validation there is happening. I had a peak, token let. So if it's a let instead of a match. So if it is a let, then they match statement. Statement init. And the expression. I see. Then they have the match expression at that point, which would have been the same thing here. Now in these cases, they're actually returning the input, rather the match expression. All right, but nothing was where we had ended up going in there for, and that was really interesting. Seeing that you could just basically take nothing out of it. I would like to try that real quick. Now what they do in this case, it was just an empty struct with that parse implemented on it. Yeah. And they take nothing. Just return self. Wow. Nothing doesn't do anything? It doesn't like throw an error if they did provide something? Oh, I see. I was thinking maybe it's nothing because I see. So in effect, they're just ignoring everything. Got it. It checks the error from parse and turns it into a compile error. I see. Huh. Because they don't even have, they're not doing anything with the result of that. It's just dropped immediately. No question mark. No try operator. Visit check. So then they have their visitor. Then I have checker visit item and mutable. Okay. Struct checker, etc. How's my GitHub code font different from yours? So much cleaner. I don't know, actually. I'm really not doing any styling except for using dark reader. That's a great question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I have any other styling overrides. Let's see. Does this do anything? Site list more. News. Ah, select font. Maybe I am overriding it. I think I'm spelling that wrong. Another UE on there? N-E-U-E. There. Huh. It's only really doing it from the outside. Well, maybe it is in there. And this is just Dark Reader. Makes going back and forth between the terminal and the browser easier. All right, so just one moment. All right. Goats are in the garden. It's pretty much dead though. I just don't want them being comfortable over there. Anyhow, okay, so then they have their checker, visit expression. And it's interesting here that they're mutably visiting expressions, which I get. What? Oh. All right. So why did they do that this way? With visit local, visit expression. Oh. Visit local. So what are they doing in the first one? Is this the built-in here? Check and insert error. Oh, what is this? So basically, if it's a match expression, they extract that, take the sorted attributes. Alright, that should remove them, and then at the very bottom, they clone the match expression and pass it into this check and insert error. So they end up calling the default trait method first, which is fine. Just surprised. I guess it gives the rest of the code the ability to look at it before you mutate it. And what are they doing here? Input match. What is this? He's mutating the expression in place. You need to visit before you wipe it out. That makes sense. I see. And basically, it's got these functions set up to take this input. But what does this input match do? It's also... Okay, let's check the imports. Ah, okay. That's over on the other side. That's the input. He's got an enum. And there, he's got the match expression. So he's basically tossing the match expression in that enum. He passes it over to check to see if it's sorted or not. And then check source. Find misordered. Oh, interesting. Collect paths. I like how these are just tossed into their own functions. You know what I'm not seeing in here? Are like tests for any of these functions. I expect it's all up at the top level, isn't it? Yeah, tests here. Wrong is equal to that, and then if we have something that's wrong, interesting. Okay. I wanted to check on the error generation as well. Let's see, where did that go? Is that in... So it's interesting that they're using new spanned. I wonder what the difference is for their needs in terms of like using new spanned versus new. Is other always going to... Let's see, what is other in this case? Well, there's here, that's past 10. I see a match pattern. So they're identifying one of these branches and then, hey, they say this is incorrect. I get it. Huh, interesting. these paths, their own paths. Then they have display for the path where they're joining this. I see. That's a neat way of doing it. Self-test segments, okay. Okay. Let's look at compare. Just a vector of idents, which is what they would be pulling out of those segments. The other segments, the path segments. Using types and traits. Gotta get better at that. I mean, this is like a really simple, straightforward way of using like types and traits. And it's exactly what you would use these things for, right? Implementing display for something. So getting data to render the way you want it to display the way you want it to. And they're doing things like overwriting, like compare, partial ORed, just so they could sort them. Compare it against other bits. That's funny. Okay. Well, let's continue on. I want to go to the next stage in this and try the next one. Just gonna go ahead and save there. All right. Let's quit out of there. So we've done builder, we did sorted. Well, we didn't finish sorted, but I think we learned a lot from sorted. All right, which one next? Bitfield? No, let's skip bitfield for now. So we've really got debug or sequence. This macro implements a derive for the standard library, debug, that is more customizable than the similar debug derive macro exposed by the standard library. Okay, in particular, we'd like to be able to select the formatting used for individual structs by providing a format string in the style of the Rust string format macros like format and printline. Ooh, neat. Oh, very nice. Okay. That is cool. That is really neat. Dealing with lifetime parameters and type parameters. Inferring trait bounds on generic parameters of trait impulse. Ooh, interesting. Limitations of derive's ability to emit universally correct trait bounds. Should we do that one or this one first? Stamping out sequentially indexed copies of an arbitrary chunk of code. Interesting. Parsing, okay. Low-level representation of token streams, constructing output source code. Let's go with sequence first, then we'll jump into the next one. I'm going to save the lifetime bits for last. Alright, to sequence we go. Oh. There we go, git checkout. Alright, what do we have in cargo? Auto tests false. Well, that's interesting. What is auto tests? Publish false, that's good. Proc-macro true. Try build. Good. Let's go into it first. Auto tests make it so test show up in the test runner. I see. Now they had it set to false here. Oh, I see. So we're gonna go take a peek at lib real quick. Proc-macros, sequence, token stream, etc. Unimplemented, fine. Progress. Header parse. This test looks for a function-like macro with the right name to exist. For now, the test doesn't require any specific code to be generated by the macro, so returning an empty token stream should be sufficient. Before moving on to the next test, you'll want some code in your implementation to handle parsing the first few tokens of input. The macro should expect the input to contain an ident, in, a literal int, a dot dot, and an int again. It is also possible to implement this project without using sin, if you'd like. Interesting. Though you will end up writing more code, more tedious code, and more explicit error handling when using sin as a parsing library. Yeah, we're going to use sin and parse because I want to generate a struct that takes these and parses these. Alright, and this is a function one, a function macro. And this is, what was it, lit int. Dot dot. Oh, ident. All right, let's go ahead and add sequence sin. Sin token. We're going to return a sequence with those 5 tokens. Oh. Let's get those correct. No, some of these are just never read. I can see that, like, token in isn't going to be read. A bunch of these aren't. Wow, look how smart Rust Analyzer is. Alright, well that has the test. It should not be working yet. No. Let's see the parse input stream. Parse macro input. There we go. Put in sequence. I think that's too much. We're parsing too much there. Trying to do this from memory. So this token stream, what do we want to parse that as? If we look at the input here, it's going to be some sequence and then, was it some sort of body? I don't know what the rest of that's going to be. So it seems like there's something else missing here. Let's look at parse stream again. Decent coffee today. All right. What was it? Parse stream. Oh, wait, let's go look at the modules again. The modules here are laid out in a really nice way. So if you're parsing, go into the parse one. If you're visiting, yeah, you got the visit ones at the bottom. This is really nicely laid out. Oh, look at that. Fold and ext. Ident ext. Okay. Let's go back a couple. Go back into fold. Syntax tree traversal to transform the nodes of an owned syntax tree. So is it really folding over that? That is cool. This might actually be very useful for this one if we have to repeat things. Huh. Wow, fold ABI. That's interesting. There's so much in here. But I'm not seeing how parse stream and fold actually work well together. Because there are different ways of iterating. There are different ways of going through the input here. All right, nice, dude. You take care. It's like visit, except it's a map. I see. This gives you a mutable t and returns nothing. Responsible adult. Aww. I hear ya. Oh, this is cool. Braised token. We can do braised here and then fields. Basically, whatever comes in there. Old visit is all you need for working on any tree-like structure. That's pretty cool. So we might be able to use this too. braced. Oh, brace token, token brace. Well, that's probably a better way to do it, isn't it? What's private? Oh. Oh, it's not a token, it's a node. Thank you. Alright. And we had fields. I mean, I don't know what this is going to be here. And then we'll segment it. Okay. Pandemic crust. That's funny. Good morning. Thank you for the follow. Let's try it the other way. Let's toss that in there. We don't have the repetitions. I mean, brace token is going to be the same way. Alright. This is a really neat thing about Rust, how it can determine what the return values are for these elements. It's just, I like Rust for that. Allow dead code on the struct to not have a weird name. It's probably better, isn't it? Should have multi-evented that. Alright. We'll rename those in a moment. So in their example, they have content and input. And then, is that going to create some local? Oh, I see. So we're giving it the parser there. Like content outside of that. Little bike shedding. I guess it's technically not bike shedding, but. Oh, they have their own struct field. Got it. Okay. Just gonna toss that in there for a moment. Because I don't know what the next piece is actually going to look like. Just rename that to something for a moment. So brace was pretty neat. All right, but where were we going? Where were we going into? I mean, I think it'd be fun to be able to use parse. Actually, do we need quote for this? I guess we don't necessarily need quote for this, do we? Hmm. The macro invocation in the previous test case contained an empty loop body inside the braces. In reality, we'll want for the macro to accept arbitrary tokens inside the braces. The callers should be free to write whatever they want inside the braces. The sequence macro won't care whether they write a statement or a function or struct, etc. So we will work with the loop body as a token stream rather than a syntax tree. Before moving on, ensure that your implementation knows what has been written inside of the curly braces as a value of the token stream. It does either make... Oh, I see. So basically you are just stamping out code. So replacing the token n inside of this. Interesting. So is there a way to kind of marry the two patterns here, where we parse macro input, but keep the piece inside of here, keep the piece inside of fields. Let's say content. Let's rename that to content real quick. It's just going to be something, and then we'll use a fold on that to generate the bodies. So if we do content instead, and instead of whatever, we can match. We just take everything. Is there a way on a parse stream to get just everything and then fold on it? Parse buffer. It works on the parsed AST. I see. So we'd basically just have to parse this, keep the result of it, and then fold on the body. So what would the body of this be? Alright, so sin, I think let's look at tokens. Or let's say modules. Now, tokens are not nodes. I keep mixing the two in my mind. So basically want anything that's inside of there. Just block. And would this just be an And these are the nodes here, right? They look like nodes. Item function, item anything. So maybe just item. Because item is everything. It's actually a lister, but that's beside the point. Got it. So I wonder if we can do this. Can we just provide token? Say, oh, we want whatever it is. Just give that to us. And then later go through and fold over that, repeating the content as we output it. Oops. No, I meant item, not token. There we go. Sin item is right there. Oh, but that's only available with certain feature. So at this point, we'd parse this out into the pieces that we want. I'm gonna rename it to like body or something. I know. It's like the third or fourth rename. So then we have unimplemented here. And at this point, we could then basically output body. Sequence.body. To token stream. No? Now why? To token stream. Oh. To tokens. I see. Into token stream, 2 tokens. Oh, that's inside of quote. Is there a way to do this without pulling quote in? Oh, with append append all. I see. And that's proc macro too. But in order to be able to do that, I would basically have to take these other types. Oh, where'd they go? This item with all of these. So this does have 2 tokens. I feel like I'm missing something here. Basically, we have sin, right? And we have something, an item, that impulses 2 tokens. I'm not seeing any reason why it wouldn't be available. Ah, only if printing, huh? I should bring it into scope. I mean, it looks okay. All right. You don't have to use the quote macro, you can just use its trait. All right, go add a quote. Doesn't satisfy body, quote to tokens. Oh. Ah. Body. That's sequence. Oh, I see. And this brace thing might not have actually been the best choice. This contents parse terminated. Oh, I should just be calling body there. It also handles spans. I do not think that I actually want multiple body tokens there. I think I just want body there. Even though this parse terminated, it's going to be something else. How do we... Okay, now I'm just thinking out loud here. Let's go back up to the top. They had a bracket macro in here. Macros. Braced and bracketed. So I get that you can do this with fields like that. But let's say I just wanted to get everything inside of it. Ident in cursor expression. Expose their content to subsequent parsers. I guess it could be anything, couldn't it? It'll just be parse. I see. So in this case, braced, I was hoping it would just like kind of take that outer layer, like the token and whatnot, because it's going to be possible that there's quite a few elements inside of this. So maybe instead of using brace there, we would just capture the whole thing. Just say the brace token is actually part of body. You definitely don't want to be repeating that. Alright, hold on a sec. So if it's doing token myParse token here, right, and then we have content here, and this is a body parse. Alright, and okay, butcher that. Okay, there. But this punctuated bit here, because it could be anything inside of there, this punctuated doesn't seem correct. You have to do some... Oh, don't use parse terminated. Ah, got it. I'm gonna go forward a little bit. I've lost pretzel. There's pretzel. So now in here they had parse terminated. Let's go look at parse buffer. Parse and parse terminated. And we can give it a T, so we can give it body there. Oh, I see. We just call parse. Oh, silly me. Okay. It's starting to come together. And this here is just going to be body. And then body as parse would get called. I can't stand the body thing. That's weird. It was just telling me that those weren't being used. Of course they were. Alright. What's our error? Unexpected end of input. Expected one of function, etc, etc, etc. But there was nothing inside of it. I guess that's possible. And I see. It's an optional body, isn't it? Oh, we could have done that the other way. Input parse okay. You would have liked that better. So really it's a summer or none. And as we saw yesterday on your stream, Museum, doing the none just does nothing, which is fine. Oops. Let's close that. Close some of those buffers. Okay. Alright, second phase. Parse body. Colors should be free to write whatever they want to inside the braces. Sequence macro won't care whether you write a statement or a function or a struct or whatever else. But we will work with the loop body as a token stream rather than a syntax tree. Okay. Before moving on, ensure that your implementation knows what has been written inside of the curly braces. Okay. So this should work. It doesn't. No rules expected. It's token in macro call. I see. So we actually have to replace the N there with our token. Right. Explanation of the purpose of Proc-macro 2. Making them testable. Providing the latest and greatest APIs across all compiler versions. Let's see. Alright, well, in here, we're going to try to use fold on that. I guess we just take self there. Look at a token stream. Okay. Now we're going to need to know what we're going from, what we're going to, and to replace those elements in the body. So let sequence ident. This is the token we're looking for. Alright, so break that up. I'm going to use fold on that. So we create a trait, so we implement fold for this. And this is going to be for, interesting, fold expression. Ideally, it could be like, it could be anything, couldn't it? And it would be nice if we could say just ident, but maybe it's for an item. Fold item. Oh my goodness, there's so many elements there. Fold block, fold data. I see. So expression, starting to look at how this is set up. So we have data, and you could do data, or you could be more explicit about it. Hold arm. Yep, okay, so some generic things. Hold expression. Then we'd be able to see, like, oh, well, which one of these is it? Hold field, pattern, fields, name, named. Ident. All right. And maybe we should implement fold for sequence, so that it has, it's got state on it. No, I think we should have a different fold. Replace ident? I don't know. We'll see. All right. I mean, identifiers are kind of a leaf node, aren't they? So does, should be able to just replace that node with our own node. What terms do they use here? Source and destination. A string. From to. Yeah, okay. Generate new. There we go. Good. Okay, formatter kicked in, it's working. Let's keep going. Oh, I missed a joke! I'm so sorry. Viable clan member. Hi. When I was a student, I couldn't afford to pay my electricity bill. Those were my darkest days. So sorry that took so long. That was like 10 minutes ago. Or more. That's a pretty good one. I'm gonna keep that one around. Oh, sorry I missed that. I should be on top of it. Alright, we got that. Now let's also look at the from and to. n and from dot dot 2. It's going to be something like this, and then we would create a new replace ident, or from. It's going to be from here and then to. These are incorrect. This should be from start end to. Something like that. And then this would be a hold on this. Oh, I see. We have to fold the entire thing. And this here would be body. So we end up doing this over and over and over again, generating something like that. So perhaps this would be better collected to some sort of token stream. All right. Oh, no fold in the scope. Isn't it sin fold? Sin fold? Oh, do we have to? Yeah, I have to enable that feature. Add that, close the file, give it a save, let it compile. See, my office right now is 59 degrees. Boy. Gotta get some more compiling going. Heat the room up. Failed to build archive, no such file or directory. Try again. I think that's what happens to the U of M here. Everybody have a good weekend? Saturday I was really productive. Sunday I didn't really get much done. We ended up having donuts on Sunday morning. It was too much oil for me. It just made me feel blah the rest of the day. They were super tasty, but I just couldn't take it afterwards. Then I probably had too many donuts. That body didn't like that. Oh, this should just be a self. We're gonna change this. So if node is equal to from match node from Can you do this? Oh man, you could do this in Erlang, and I love this in Erlang. Or if it matched on that, you can actually return the other element. Oh, self dot. I don't think we can actually match this. So it would just, that just binds it, doesn't it? All right, there we go. Map. No method named map found for that. All right, now if we have something that's int, what can we do with one? Base 10 digits, interesting string, or we can parse it. Okay. So we have to do a base 10 parse on that. Turbofish, there we go. Oh, that and their results. Okay, let's extract those to variables. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. What? Base 10 parse. Alright. This should probably be returning result. Toss the try operator in there. Oops. Ident from store is not satisfied. No, I don't want idents here. I want usize. There we go. But then when we go inside, then we have to convert that number into an ident. And now for the fold. I wonder what we would start out with here. Because body, let's see, this is fold. Ah, they do have fold item. Ah. No. Because if it was nothing, quote. Alright. Now we just have content, and that should be an item. And then we can collect into something, but we don't have something to collect to. It doesn't know the type. Ah, can we just toss an into to go into the OK type? Probably not. Yeah. Let's collect into a token stream. And return the tokens. What does fold return? And it returns a bunch of expressions. Oh! We fold into the same type, which would be item, root item, but we might have multiples. I see. So if we take items down into token streams, we should be able to do that inside of this. That'll return an item, then we can take it into token stream. Then we can collect into token stream. But it needs to be Proc-macros 2 token stream, doesn't it? Because Proc-macros 2 has those extra little bits we want. Alright, let's forward on this one. All right, I'm going to change this up just a wee bit. So we're going to have proc macro token stream here and here. And everywhere else, we're going to change it to proc-mac2 token streams. I have to restart Vim for that one. Okay. Cannot move out of self.2. This needs to be a clone. Guess we could just borrow those, couldn't we? These could be borrowed. Now we need a lifetime. I guess technically those don't have to be the same lifetime. So we could have A and B there. They're going to be coming from the same structure. That should be fine. Alright, so if those are the same, we end up cloning it, etc. Good. So this body, hey, 1904. Good morning. What are we doing? We are working through Ditolne's Proc Macro Workshop. At the very moment, okay, we still can't do that. Let's do a take on this. Just give me one moment, then we'll jump into that a little bit more. Now let's consider changing it to mutable. It's fine. Okay, now we should have that.
Gives them a satisfaction they couldn't get any other way.
Because we should own content there now. All right. That and fold item actually wants to own the item. Ah, because it needs to be clonable. Okay. Well, let's take a step back and we can go through what we're working through. Really big picture, we're working on a game server and game client. Okay, so super high level, we're working on a game called Legacy. I would consider it like MMO-esque, kind of casual MMO. where we work on things like procedurally generated islands and stuff like that. We were doing procedurally generated meshes a week and a half ago. There was something that we wanted to change in one of the libraries that we ended up using called GD Native, but our knowledge was lacking. So we're going through this Proc-macro workshop so that we can increase our knowledge on how to do Proc-macros in Rust. 1904. All right, you take care. And so we're just working through our Proc-macro workshop, getting some exercises in, hopefully understanding this quite a bit better. Oh, expand is never used. All right. So, what do we have here? We need to actually use that expand. Sequence. Expand. Now, I've been parsing this into like, okay, error. I remember something slightly different here. What was that? I thought it was interesting. Oh no, still there. Okay, okay, error. I'm sure we're going to get to those in just a moment. Now, tokens in this case, that's a token stream. Ah, wrong kind. Into. All right, let's clean up the warnings because they do get in the way quite a bit. All right. Plus he panicked at 0 is not a valid identifier. But it's 0 in quotes, double quotes. Interesting. Why is it in double quotes? Expand to nothing. Help message 0 is not a valid identifier. So that there, when we took it to an ident, it must have had the quotes around it. Hold on a sec. All right. So if we did have some sort of ident, so we could do a test real quick. Curious about this. Because I think it's this here. I think this is doing it. Or I should be replacing the ident with something else. But I thought, since it's an ident, it needs to be maybe an expression then. Okay, we might have to change our check there. There's our message. Unexpected panic. The compiler unexpectedly panicked. This is a bug. This doesn't quite feel like a compiler error, like a bug to me. I mean, maybe it is. Is this a valid use case for reporting a bug? It doesn't feel like it to me. I mean, to me, it feels like, oh, you're doing the macro wrong. However, the compiler panicking. I don't know. Wonder how far it's getting. It's not every day you panic the compiler. All right. 13. Drop in place. Interesting. I wonder, is it in here? It's going to need type info if we do this. Or it might. All right, does it still break? Okay. At least that time, the compiler did not crash. All right, so it must be in here. It must be in the fold. Oh. Okay, that was unexpected. So this format ident didn't work. 2 in this case is a usize. Formatting an ident of a usize? What? Why? Why would that crash things? Okay, this is a different error. This is basically telling us, no, you didn't do it right. Unused variables, yeah. Back to 0, not a valid identifier. Okay. Got it. Because format ident isn't an identifier, we actually have to replace it with something else. So our expand and our replace item is probably wrong in that we're doing the wrong types there. So this format ident is not correct. Replace ident, replace, let's call it something else. Replace expression? I don't know. Let's replace expression. We could replace one expression with another, which would work. Because we should be able to see that, oh, we're getting an ident expression or whatever it is, and replace it with some other kind of expression, like a little expression. And this here could then be whatever lit is, and it could be an int. Old expression. Let's see, what did it want again? Just EXPR, okay. Ah. So we probably need to know what kind of expression this is. Just pass it through for now. Oh, expression doesn't implement debug. Extra traits? All right. So what we're doing here is trying to figure out what we're going to be matching against inside of expression in order to convert it to something else. Now that other thing that we're going to convert it to, I don't know if it's going to be an ident or something else. The from is going to be interesting. I mean, it could be, I would expect it to be the same thing, an ident. So we're probably going to be matching against an ident. I just want to make sure. And then our 2 is going to be replacing it with some other kind of expression, which is likely going to be lit int. So we can create a new lit int. Interesting, is that... We do not have a span for that. And in this case, we do not need to do that. I guess we could just clone that. So our 2 in this case is going to be whatever that number is to a string, because we have to take it to a str. Did usize have toString? Yes. Oh, there's no new for span. That's right. What span do we get it? Should give it the span of the original start and end. Alright, so where do we actually get the opportunity to create one of these? Joined other, resolved at, located at. Let's look at Proc-mac 2. Span here. So we can say located at. And join's not going to work. But ideally it would be the token stream of those elements, right? The start equals end. These 3. I don't know if we're ever going to see that though. I thought span was also in sin. Is it spanned? Yeah, we've got this trait here, so anything that does 2 tokens on it can do this. So if we did have tokens, like a bunch of tokens, let's say start and end, into token stream, extend, Let's rename this to maybe range tokens or something. Going to have a jam-packed knowledge transfer waiting tomorrow. Oh no, is somebody leaving? That's what that means to me. Like somebody's decided to move on to go do something else, and that means that you get like a what was that? Oh, you are. Oh, okay. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Scott. How's it going? Hello, Raiders, and welcome. So, Copper Beardy. Oh man, I wish my beard was still copper. Mine's like copper and white. How was your stream? We're currently working on increasing our knowledge. So we're trying to pick up some Rust Proc-macro knowledge. We're trying to build a game server and a game client. Game server is using Rust. The game client is using GD native inside of Godot. White is starting to show these days, yes. Redheads don't go gray, they go white. So we'll say range tokens is that. I have to break this into a couple pieces. Let's see, what were you doing today? Nice. Go to game kata. Oh, very cool. Well, I hope you had a good stream. I'll join that. Then we'll have to get the span out. Store that into some local. Import that. And we should be able to use that later here. All right, now start mode, of course. So if we didn't want to take it to the token, into token stream, stream, isn't that in sin? No, that's in quote, isn't it? So what level of coders do we have out there? No, we usually have some people out there that are learning to code, so don't be afraid to ask questions. And if I'm wandering in the wrong direction, please correct me, because I'm learning to code in Rust. Been doing this for over a year now. All right, inside of here we have into token stream, and that's onto tokens, which also does just 2 token stream, which would give me the same thing without consuming self. There we go. Hopefully we have the right type there. All right. Oh, did we crash the compiler again? Unlikely. Yeah, we got some errors. Unused imports, yes. Field is never read, fine. No rules expected the token N. Interesting. That's because it parsed all the way through. And where'd our debugs go? I'm not seeing them. I was expecting that we would hit this line of code here. Let's get a bigger error message. We'll just panic instead. That should break it. If it's hitting that line. If it's not hitting that line, we have bigger issues. We'll have to figure out which piece of fold we actually have to replace. It's not. Oh, there we go. We did hit it. Good. It's just not giving us the output that I was hoping to see. All right. Well, let's give it a good guess then. So this expression, we're going to match that. Now, expressions, there are many different kinds of expressions. So if we fill in the match arms, it's going to just add quite a bit here. Now, the one that I'm looking for, I think it's going to be ident. FGH index. Oh, interesting. Nope, not those. Cast, nope. Closure, nope. Is it macro, match, method called parent, range, repeat, etc. Interesting, it does not appear to be one of these. Where'd sin go? Here's sin. Not macros. Oh, modules. Fold. And then the functions. So we can override any one of these functions on this fold. Fold ident. Fold pattern ident. I was mostly expecting item. So we could still look at that. Pattern, no. Path, no. Queue self-signature statements, etc., etc. Let's go back up to item. Ah, but we ended up moving away from item, didn't we? Because we can only return an ident there, or fold ident. What about item? Item could return something else. So if we're folding on items, an item here could be oh, we'd have to look at basically I want to look at every token. I'm slowly coming to the realization that I might have to write a little bit more code than I wanted to. Because macro, the first one, is going to be here. We're going to receive a macro, and a macro inside of that would have a path, etc. I mean, maybe we could use path, but it's also going to have tokens. Oh, can we just operate on the token stream itself? Oh, so maybe I am doing this wrong. And we should be iterating over the token stream instead. Because if we go into iterator on the token stream, it's going to give us a token tree. Which is essentially what... See, I really do think it's ident. But finding the right ident is the hard part here. Group ident punct literal. Because we need to replace the ident, the n, with something else. So if this was ident, I mean, we used to have that in there. And the reason we moved away was because we couldn't return the right type. We need to return something else. Yes, we're overriding the base of this fold. It's got all sorts of functions on it. You just override the one that you want. I mean, maybe the expr lit. We try that one. Pattern literal. And that's it. Let's try this one. What's this do? We get an expression literal. Has attributes. Has lit. Alright. Let's override that one. we're going to return that. You know what? Unused imports. What else was there? Just to clean up the extra warnings. Dead code. Hey, good morning. Cinderman. This theme here is Challenger Deep. There we go. Get rid of those warnings, finally. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And happy Monday. I was hoping to see a little bit more information here. The ePrint line should have given us some info. Let's go ahead and get rid of the backtrace for now. Okay. Now, what is data? Struct enumber union. Okay. Like at this point, I have no idea. I don't think it's fields. I mean, to me, it looks like macro. Right? Because we should end up hitting this fold macro item here. Now, is our code even being hit? Okay, so it is being hit. But we're not getting our ePrint lines printing out. Fine. I wonder why. No capture wasn't expected. I mean, it shouldn't be a watch that's failing. Oh, that's capturing it. This was working yesterday for something else. Maybe the fold is somehow consuming it? Or is there a difference between running cargo watch test and cargo test? Or am I just not seeing this? AOEU. I don't see it there. Odd. Okay. Well, given what this XPR lit it is, step into that. It's going to have a literal here. A rod literal not interpreted by Sin. I'm guessing it's a verbatim. Match expression. Give us the match arms. Oh, it's not that piece. I have to do .lit on it. Expression lit. There we go. If literal is equal to a literal string. Okay. So we could create one out of a string, which means that we could get our so that can only go from a literal. All right, so we have to get a string in order to be able to compare this. In which case our from, which is an ident here, needs to be converted. Can we just say that's a literal now? Well, let's give it a try. Huh, the parse didn't flinch. Oh, that's right, and O2, how are we doing this? See here, input's expected to contain an ident, a token, that. I think I'm doing this the wrong way. That's okay. Let's see how it goes. So if we have any of these, we'll just return the expression through. Otherwise, we'll have a guard on there, and if verbatim, literal, and if it matches what we're going from, we will return what we're going to. Alright, so we have to go EXPR lit. How do we create one of these? Does it have default? Okay, so we just give it attributes and some sort of literal. And then lit. Lit is going to be lit, and it'll be lit : int. And that one needs a literal integer, which is what we have. Self dot to a clone. Okay, now it should tell us it doesn't recognize those. Alright, so we can't compare literal to literal. Ah. Interesting. So there's lots of ways to construct these, but not a way to compare them. We can get spans from them. How would we know if two literals are the same? We can call display on it and compare those. That's a little gross.
I need a scarecrow after what you did, 'cause all of the birds know that I'm almost dead.
All right.
I'm barely breathing, I'm barely awake. You left me in pieces, there's no more to break. Don't wake me up, not in this century.
Yeah, we could compare the strings on it. Literal use size, unsuffixed. What does this take? Just use size. Oh, we cannot give it a span? Can we give it a span? Nope.
I need an angel after what you did, 'cause you were the devil, you mess with my head. You lied to my mother, you lied to my friend.
All right, we're removing that stuff there. We could pre-construct that literal int. We don't have to do it later. Down here.
Just a ghost, you're never there. 'Cause you're
Odd. So EXPR, that takes a lit, and a lit is a verbatim. Oh, I see.
You're just a ghost inside my head.
Oh, that's different now, isn't it? The two there. Hmm. Because this literal is going to be a number. All right, let's work through this. Oh, we don't need the clone. So if we did have a literal here, it would be a verbatim literal. Oh, wow. Look at all those. Do a cargo test. Big money, big money, big money. Expect a literal token. Okay, so that's not a literal token. Which means this does have to be an ident. That's fine. But then how do we compare other... Yeah, we can compare the strings. That just doesn't seem awesome. Because in this case, we're going from. Hmm. No rules expected this token in macro call. And it's expecting a literal. I think we're parsing the first piece okay. The second piece isn't going so well. These are interesting challenges. So when we start at the beginning, parse macro input, that sequence, call expand on it, and we take the result of that to pass it through. If we look at expand, we do structure self, convert start and end to numbers. And if we have content, I guess we could move those inside. So if we do have content, then we iterate over the content n number of times, trying to replace the token, the from token, into the to token here. All right. But this fold item, that gets called. We give it the content, so we know it's item. That's what I get parsed in as. And it should then trickle down through everything, replacing elements there. Now, if we go to the piece of the fold that we want to replace, we're exploring with fold expr literal, trying to replace a specific one. So if the literal matched verbatim, then it would swap that out. But it doesn't appear to. What was it? expr-lit. And that's inside of sin. And expr-lit. It's trying to compare it with something else, like a verbatim, like a literal here. I don't think that's not matching, which means we're coming down into this case. Oh, this isn't even getting called. All right. So in O2, press the body. So we will work with a body, with a loop body as a token stream, rather than as a syntax tree. All right. Token stream, where art thou, token stream? From iterator, token stream. Into iterator. Item, we get a token tree. All right, let's mix it up. and 03. .04. Interesting. It's got a little pound sign there. So yes, in this case they're expecting us to expand four errors. Now construct the generated code. Alright, so instead of this here, we're not going to do the fold. Let's try to do this with just the token stream. Toss that at the bottom for a minute. Alright. So this is going to be content. Content should be a token stream. What's an item? To token stream into token stream. Content should have been an item, yes, and we should be able to take that into token stream. Into iter map t, just for whatever the token is. Actually, let's not do the map there. Let's do an inspect. What? Can I refer type for parameter B? Oh, what we're going to? Or does token stream? It doesn't look generic. S-Jax, good morning. How are you? Happy Monday. Why is the raisin afraid to go swimming? Because it's afraid of the strong currents. Not so bad. Alright. Yes, and we do bad jokes occasionally. So, clean bad jokes. Clean bad jokes. What is this actually? What is this expecting? B and then F, where B is the output type from the if and mut, I see. Token to clone into token stream. All right, we should get the panic now. Unused variables, fine. If panicked, expand to nothing. Okay. Now in this case, it's going to be a token tree. And what are we going to do with the token tree? So it's going to be a group, an ident, a punct, or a literal. Is there only ever going to be one? Yeah, you can try one. We try to keep it clean, so as long as it has the appearance of cleanliness, the joke's fine. You know, like, what's the difference? What is the difference between snowmen and snowwomen? Snowballs. Right? It's got the appearance of cleanliness, even though it's talking about. So you get the idea. Alright, so if we match T there, fill match arms, sure. Actually, let's not do that. I want to see if we can get E print line working again. Oh, it worked that time. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is perfect. It's a group. We don't actually send into this, do we? Oh, we... it's doing it a number of times here. But it seems as though this has to be recursive. Otherwise, we don't descend into the other token stream. So if we do get a group, then we have to go into that as well. Morning, Pandemic Rust. How are ya? Alright, I think we will have to... Let's see, we're trying to generate a token stream by going through it. And at this point, let's see, if we have a group, it doesn't actually descend into the group, so that we see a punctuation, or rather an ident later. So it appears as though whenever we have something that we need to descend into, we have to do it ourselves. So for groups, I'm guessing. Ident, that doesn't hold a bunch of information. Punct does this one though, because this could, depending on how they set up the parser, span spacings, and no. Okay, doesn't look like it does. And then literal. Yeah, which is what we were looking at earlier. Alright. So it looks like we have to descend when we get to a group, but nothing else. Otherwise, we should be replacing the ident. The group also has a stream, which is a token stream. Does not include the delimiter returned above. Alright, but how do we end up mutating that? Let's say we did want to change something in the token stream, like swap out an ident. Because most of it just passes through. There's only certain tokens we would end up mapping. Okay, let's create a... Well, that's an iterator. So if we wanted to do this recursively, whoa. I jumped around too far. There we go. So if we had a struct here, well, we could do this straight with a function, or we could do it with something else. Let's see. Is there a way to do this where we don't have to recurse? I think it would be a lot harder. Alright. Struct replace. Let's just do function replace. Stream. From is going to be something, and then to is going to be something. Should also return a token stream. So if we have a token stream coming in and one going out, then we just need to map the elements that we care for and recurse in the other cases. Stream dot into iter map tree. We'll match the tree. All right. Missing match arms. Let's fill those in. So at the moment, we're going to recurse when we get a group. Group.stream. But it feels like we're missing some information on group. Like we should be returning the group as well. Note that the returned token stream does not include the delimiter returned above. Okay, so we have to return the delimiter followed by the stream. I see, so we could construct a new one given the delimiter and a token stream. Let's go ahead and do that then. Stream is going to be equal to, replace that, and we're going to give back the other, basically a new group. Oh yes, and we have to recurse properly, giving our from and our to through. Now this delimiter we should have extracted before. Group is a group. Oh, it's a method. What should I call that? That's technically number 4 there, sin group. Oh, no, I had that wrong. Interesting. It's number 5. A token group? Which one is it? Proc-macros 2 group. Okay, let's try again. Number 3. Alright, then if we get an ident, we're going to be swapping out that ident. So, going from one to the other. So we'll swap that. Otherwise, if it's punctuation, we just return that. If it's a literal, just the same thing, return the literal. So it has partial equal on it, good. So if it equals from, we'll return 2. Otherwise, return ident. Oh, that's right, these should be a token tree. All right, cleaned up those paths. Now here. All right, should bind those to something else and it just passes through. Now we're not calling a replace yet. We have the recursion set up. In here, we need to call it. Now for this recursion, we are going to pass in a token stream with the to and the from. So clone that into token stream. Okay, get rid of those. And that should return a token stream. Yes, our from and our to are messed up at the moment, which is expected. We do not want the literal. Technically, we want, I guess, an ident from that? I don't know. Ident doesn't feel right. I mean, maybe we should be giving it a literal. Basically swapping out when we do the replace. Perhaps we want to give it the other kind. So token tree. Let's go back to token tree. Okay, and let's swap this out here. So from and to. This is going to be a literal. And in this case, if they're equal, then we want some other type. So we're not going to be assigning to a local, because we have a different tree type here. And this one will be token tree. We'll return the literal instead. Okay. From wasn't being used. Let's use it. There we go. Let's try that out. It worked. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, compile, fail, expand 4 errors. Now, in this test, construct the generated code, produce the output token stream by repeating the loop body and correct the correct number of times as specified by the loop bounds and replacing the specified identifier with the loop counter. All right, this might just work. It does, because we already swapped out the tokens correctly. So if we look at standard error, this is the output that we're currently generating. Error number 1, error number 2, error number 3. Okay. paste indent. 04. One of the big things callers will want to do with the sequential indices and is use them as part of an identifier, like F0, F1, F2, etc. Implement some logic to paste together any ident followed by #, followed by our loop variable into the concatenated identifier. I see. Invocation below will expand to that. All right. So if there's an identifier followed by #, then n, interesting. Well, that should fail. Let's just make sure it fails. So as we come through here, what are we going to see first? We're going to see some sort of identifier. We're going to want to keep track of the last identifier that we saw. Or if we're seeing ident followed by something else. So maybe also looking at a window. And that would be a window of what, 3 things? 1, 2, 3. So whatever the identifier is as the third element. You could do a window of 4. But then that means you have to have at least 4 things to parse always, which could work. But then how would we do this across groups? I guess this wouldn't really go across groups, would it? You wouldn't end up having a group be part of that. You would have basically an ident and some other elements. Huh, interesting. Well, I gotta get actually to my day gig. So I'm gonna do that. My normal schedule is 6:30 a.m. to about 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you have questions or want to hang out offline, we do have Discord. Also announce in Discord, so if you're not getting the Twitch announcements, people have asked for some other place to get them. So that's in there too. Or if you just have Rust questions and want to hang out with Rust stuff. All right. I think this is a good stopping point. We've got something broken that we'll be able to fix tomorrow. And so once we get through this, then we'll go off into GD native, looking for elements that we can to improve in the proc macros there. Who's doing Rust today? Oh, Ecton Dev. Look at that. We're going to raid Ecton. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging out. And hope to see you again. So until next time. All right. Bye, y'all.